welcome to Humpday Happy Hour, hosted by Dentists in the Know, the webcast where dentistry meets real talk, real news, and just the right amount of sarcasm. We're pulling back the curtain on the industry, talking to the experts, the innovators, and the everyday clinicians who are out there doing the work. There's no fluff, no filter, and definitely no sales pitches disguised as education. If it's happening in dentistry, from clinical insights to regulatory curveballs or the latest scandal at the ADA, we are probably already talking about it. And yes, we are bringing the goods. So whether you're a seasoned doc, part of a dental team, part of the industry, maybe you're a curious consumer, or maybe you're just here for the banter, we welcome you all to the show, because around here, we're not just in the loop, we are in the know. Hey there, Dinks. I'm Dr. Jeff Horowitz, and I'm with two of my best friends in the world, two incredible clinicians and overall great people, Dr. Chad Duplantis and Dr. Jennifer Bell. The three of us created this little platform to make the world just a little bit smaller, but a whole lot more fun. Today, we have a great topic and a great guest. Believe it or not, this can be a fun topic, especially with this guest. We're going to talk infection control. We're going to be talking about water lines. We're going to be talking about a bunch of cool stuff like that.
Oh, I thought when you said infection control, we were going to talk about your college days.
Oh, yeah. They still haven't figured out an answer for that. Yeah.
Are you still part of that pilot?
There is no cure.
Antibiotics was not the answer.
Yeah. Basically, your genitals just explode is what happens, apparently. So it's not good for anybody.
Making the world smaller and just a bit more fun.
And just a bit more fun.
Yeah, this is definitely not G-rated tonight.
No, apparently not. But anyway, we have Amanda Hill, who is an incredible dental hygienist. Chad's going to introduce her in just a little while. She's authored over 100 articles on the topic of infection control, and she's also a great speaker if you ever get the chance and want to get that important requirement of infection control CE credits. So excited to talk to Amanda, and just as excited to talk to my homies here. How you guys doing?
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, night 4 now.
Night 4.
Night 4, right? Then comes day 4. It's how we roll.
Oh, okay.
Right. We read right to left, right? We go from night to day, not day to night. Lunar calendar, 1,000 points of light.
If you were running a VRBO, you'd be very confused.
What's that?
I usually book 3 nights, 4 days, but if it's a Jewish VRBO, it might be 4 days, 4 nights.
Actually, I believe it has to be 8 crazy nights.
8 crazy nights.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work I've never tried to get an Israeli VRBO. Yeah. But I'm going to look at that
Challenge
now because
accepted.
Jeff's all in.
Yeah.
Jeff is all in.
I like it.
I am in. Apparently, it's not too expensive over in Gaza right now. So, yeah. Okay. Too soon.
Too soon.
Okay. Too soon. Sorry.
Too soon.
All right.
You
editors.
Gotta keep putting the content out there so you know when it's time.
Yeah.
It's like that episode of The Office where he talks about when he was trying to find the funny lines, and he said, "Someday I hope to live in a world where AIDS is funny." And then he's like, only recently did Lincoln's assassination become funny. I need that. I need a hole in the head, and then so someday, 20 to 120 years.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Yeah, exactly. Only recently became funny, though.
I know. But Lord, I apologize. And now, I can't even say the rest of that line because I'll get in trouble for that. So I'm just digging myself a deeper hole.
Yeah.
I'll shut up.
How's your week going, Chad?
We're going to start with me.
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to throw something out there that we can all relate to. And for those of you that don't know, I'm going to throw Jeff a little age-related humor here.
That's great because I'm not feeling old enough right
No,
now.
I felt old this week.
Yeah.
I felt old this week. And you know why?
Because it took you
Because
4 minutes to urinate.
no, we go through
If that,
three
I'm
three
sorry for just a
three
second. For the folks that listen to the podcast regularly, now, if and when we hit that threshold with the frequency at which he goes,
yeah,
we will never see Chad again, ever.
three 320 27 times yesterday.
27 times at
Yeah.
320. That's like
Um,
a day.
but
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know us very well, we have a reverse pyramid going on. If you can see all three of us, the oldest is at the bottom, the second oldest is right here, and the youngest is right over here. Now, I will say we have a birthday coming up this week, and somebody is going to be a little bit closer to us
Closer.
momentarily than she has been in the
Is she
past.
catching up, Chad?
She is.
It
She's
doesn't
catching
work
up.
like
Yeah,
that.
she's catching up. She's catching up. The gap is narrowing. The gap
That
is
is not
narrowing.
true.
Yeah.
Well, it is as yeah. It just
If
just
two
Only
out of
when
three
one
of
of
us
you
say
dies
it,
does
it's
the
got
gap
to be
narrow.
true.
hey, in the fifth grade, you were really young. Okay, when
Uh-huh.
I'm 51 and Jeff's 58-ish,
Nine-ish,
59-ish,
And holding.
that means that we're all pretty much equals.
I feel the crunchiness of the week. Chad, you had a rough day yesterday. I had a rough day yesterday.
Yeah, it was like top this shit.
Yeah, it's this time of year, the compression, you're just making up hours in the day at some point along the way. Like, oh yeah, we can make that happen. Those hours didn't exist when you woke up that morning, but somehow magically,
Appeared. Yeah.
appeared at some point during the day, and yeah. So it's just I feel like every day I'm either disappointing someone or because I'm telling them news they don't want to hear, like, yeah, there's no way that's going to happen before Christmas. No way that's going to happen before the end of the year again. Or I'm anticipating who I'm going to hear from in the next 10 days on call because these things are brewing and bubbling. And I just know somehow I'm going to get involved. And, it's just that time. But I will tell you this, I'm really excited. I'm taking actually like real time off before Christmas, which I usually work pretty much right up to. And I'm really pumped that I did that because I can feel myself needing it just about every day at this point. So I'm really glad.
For you. That's the one thing I cannot do, especially moving more towards the sleep and TMJ thing, is just everybody, when you're talking about medical insurance deductibles and everybody that's having to get this stuff in before the end of the year.
I know.
I just can't right now.
It's real money. I mean,
I'm so happy for you that you get to take some time off.
Well, it only took me, I don't know, 17 years of running this practice.
We're slow right now. I mean, we were crazy the first 15 days of the month, but since yesterday, it's like it just really dialed back. Everybody's backing off. It's just we're slow, and I'm not complaining, but and I say slow, it's all like seats and deliveries and stuff like that. No high production items right now.
We really slowed down since 5 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Well, good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
How are you surviving the turn in the economy, Jeff? You okay? Doing all right?
All right. Listen, we have an amazing guest, and I'm so excited because she's so bubbly and she's such a great speaker, and she's just so knowledgeable, and enjoyed just the few minutes that we had even before the show with her. So, Chad, do you want to introduce
Are we going straight into this, or are we doing news
first?
Can
we knock out just a couple news?
Yeah, let's do news.
Quick and then...
so you're changing the order on me again.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think it's pretty much been the same way it's been for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
No. There were a couple of times JB said, now we're going to do our guest first.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do the news after. So
JB, I'm going to let you go ahead and do the news. I'm going to back off for a second, and I'll let you do the news because I think that's the order this show usually goes.
Sounds great.
Okay.
That sounds really great. What a great idea. What a great idea. Okay, team. I actually only really have 2 stories because, as you would imagine, just like Chad's office, things are getting a little slow right now. government's kind of winding down, though they did just have a couple, I think, debates and or pass a law on the ACA stuff. So there is some stuff still happening. But it's definitely quieting down. But that doesn't mean the crazy people aren't still out there making a lot of fun for dentists. As I sort of alluded to in my week this week, it's been a little bit hectic and a little bit wild, but none so much as it was for a dental practice in Colorado who had an Amazon driver go ballistic, dropping off some packages in their office. He allegedly came in punching and attempting to sexually assault an employee in front of patients. Yes, they were open. Eventually, several patients and employees removed the Amazon driver off of the other employee. They kind of held him until the police showed up. He was then arrested, taken to the county jail where he'll be sentenced on a variety of charges. What in the world? And of course, Amazon has come out, just for those of you who may be concerned. They just want to let you know that he will no longer be delivering packages to Amazon customers. And I thought, what a cagey way to say that. What you should say is, he doesn't work here anymore, period. But instead it was like, he'll no longer be delivering packages to Amazon customers. What about UPS customers or FedEx customers? I feel like this guy shouldn't be delivering packages and walking into buildings anymore. Our second story of the night, the title is, Who Gives a Shot? Well, California does, because they're introducing a new pilot program to allow assistants to administer local anesthetic. Now, this is a pretty contentious policy change, and they're just going through a pilot program now. I will say their target audience for allowing anesthesia are these very expanded function dental assistants, which after reading the article, I'm pretty sure are now dentists. Be that as it may, they have some pretty advanced expanded function dental assistants in California who are now lobbying. We're in a pilot program for administering dental anesthesia. Now, for the consumers out who are concerned, don't worry. The laundry list of requirements in order for these individuals to be able to administer anesthesia is pretty long. They have a requirement of hours of CE. They have a requirement of number of hours working in a particular field. They have to have graduated after a particular time period, which validates their credentials. So it's not like they're just taking your average new dental assistant who just walked in to learn how to become a dental assistant and then giving them the credentials to administer anesthesia. It does seem like there's a lot of intention within the pilot program. Here's the interesting twist, and I bet our guest will have an interesting comment for it. The dentists are quite open to the concept, which is funny because in my state, they were a little bit wary when we were talking about that for dental hygienists. The dental hygienists actually are the ones barking a little bit louder on this particular policy, saying they don't believe that dental assistants have the qualification. I don't have enough to say one way or the other, particularly for these expanded function dental assistants, as I've never supervised or worked with any of them. So it's not for me to comment whether they're capable or not capable. But this is yet another innovation coming out of a state trying to address workforce issues, which at the end of the day is the overarching issue here, that we don't have enough support staff to service the patients that we need to service. And with that, that's the news.
I wanted to make sure that I was off screen because I felt that it would have been rude to stay on screen while you were doing the news.
You are really being an asshole tonight.
Actually, but you know what? I had to pee. So
well, imagine that.
Turn the camera off.
How long was my news, Jeff? 2.5, 3 minutes?
Yeah, I didn't get much of it. So there you go. Yeah.
Chad's were like a 10-minute bathroom break isn't enough anymore because it's like, 3 minutes there, 3 minutes back, and all that in between.
Yeah.
Well, would you like to bring on our guest?
I would love to, but honestly, I don't know how to work this platform.
She's going to bring herself on.
So wait, I have a question. Was I on during your news or was I off? Am I supposed to be shutting myself up? This is a new platform.
No, you were on, and it's funny because you were obviously texting somebody too, because we could see you.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what you were doing, but just do your thing. Hey,
Yeah.
so our guest is on, but I'd like to introduce our guest. And so, if that's okay, I'm going to go ahead
We'd
and
love that.
take the stage right now. Um, we go to these events often and we meet all of these people. And sometimes we meet people, we're just like, hey, how you doing? And, we'll never see him again. And I met Amanda and I was like, oh my gosh, this lady is just amazing. She is truly and correct me if I'm wrong, Amanda, but she has, you know, directed her career towards like infection control and making dental offices better places. She's a wonderful human being. She's very knowledgeable. She's a hygienist by degree, but she's has 25 years of clinical dental hygiene experience. She's been in dentistry since she was 15 years old, and I dare not say how old she is, but I'm going to take a gander because after our conversation and knowing her on social media, I'm going to say we're about the same age. Um, but it was kind of like we started talking and we connected and I've gotten to know her on social media and she's just a wonderful person. She's authored, as Jeff stated earlier, because Jeff was not going to introduce our guest, but actually he started to. But I'm going to say it one more time. Authored over 100 articles, and she's brought clarity to a lot of hot topics in dentistry. She is the recipient of the Association for Dental Safety's Emerging Infection Control Leader Award. Now, that's a lot of verbiage, but
Hmm.
she's affectionately known as the Waterline Warrior. I'm going to just go ahead and say this too. I've seen this crazy woman running around the airport testing water lines at the airport. And she like does these like social media things where she's wearing a cape. I mean, she takes this shit very seriously. All right. So who is not going to love somebody that does that? So, my intro might not have been worth a damn, but Amanda, you're a pretty cool person, and we're glad that you're here. And I'm excited to hear from you this evening. I mean, it's a long time coming. We met at the Hinman a year and a half ago, and here you are on the show. So, welcome.
I think that was a killer intro. Thank you, Chad. No, I loved it so much better than the like blah 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 like like Snoopy's, like Charlie
Yeah.
Brown's
Quack,
parents
quack,
back
Exactly.
quack,
there,
quack.
right?
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
facts are I can't read,
It's
so
And and
it
who
is what
wants
it
to
is.
read all the facts?
You get
also,
what you get, and
thank
that goes
goodness,
with that.
because as we talked about tonight, I think, Chad, you could use a Waterline Warrior right now, couldn't you?
I could.
Okay.
Yeah, I could. Yep, that's for sure. Damn sure. Yep, yep. So, tell us what makes you tick in dentistry, Amanda, or tell us just intro yourself. Tell us about your journey in dentistry first.
Okay, well, it did start back when I was 15 years old. Randomly called my pediatric dentist who had done my braces, and I thought a job answering the phone sounded fun because that was like back in the day when we still talked on the phones.
Yeah.
The ones with the curly Q cord that you would like take to the other room and that kind of thing. And so I thought that'd be a great job, and I called, and they're like, "Yeah, he's interviewing." And I was like, "Cool." So I went after school, and I got an interview with Dr. Kramer, and Dr. Kramer hired me, and I showed up after school the next day, and he handed me an apron, and I was a dental assistant, and I was like, "Oh, well then."
Nice.
Yeah.
Clearly not one qualified enough to give anesthesia though, Jennifer.
No, I
Definitely
get
very
it.
different.
There are
Very
days
different.
I'm not sure I'm qualified to give dental
Right.
anesthesia.
Right. But yeah,
Depends on the day.
so that was kind of my entree into dentistry, and I turned out I liked it. I liked it. I liked the patients. I liked what I got to do, and I watched what the dental hygienist in the practice did, and thought, now that's what I think I want to do. And so I headed off to Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, for dental hygiene school, and got my hygiene degree, and then happened to meet this Navy boy who was there, and married him, and then ended up moving all around the world, and having 3 kids, and continued to practice dental hygiene, where I could, where it was easy to do it. I would tell you a couple states, not so much. You want to
Yeah.
talk about workforce issues?
Yeah.
Make it a little easier, please, because then you'd have more workers. But anyway, yeah. So next year is actually 30 years in dental hygiene, which is a little bananas to say. But somehow starting back around 2018, 2019, I started tiptoeing out of the op a little bit and doing a little bit of speaking. And one of my very first lecture topics happened to be about dental unit water lines because I heard about them in a lecture. And so I went back to my office and said, hey, are we doing this, guys? And they're like, no, we're not doing this. And I was like, well, I'm going to buy the stuff and we're going to do this. And thank goodness the dentist that I worked with was totally like, he's like, yeah, if you'll take charge, buy whatever you need, which I often hear from clinicians like, hey, I took your lecture. I'm so excited. I want to do it. But my office says no. And so I'm so glad that my office didn't say no. And that's kind of how my Waterline Warriorness began.
So it's pretty cool because everything goes full circle, and as dentists, I think we all get caught up in certain aspects of dentistry.
Yep.
And for instance, JB's orthodontics and restorative. I think that's fair to say. I do a lot of restorative. Jeff is TMJ and sleep. And one of the things that we kind of push by the wayside and hope that somebody's taking care of is our OSHA and infection control stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just speaking for myself, but it's like you feel blessed that it's taken care of, but um, God bless you for actually wanting to become involved in that. And it's something that a lot of us take for granted. So
Amanda, do you
appreciate you
have
doing that.
any statistics right now on how many offices are testing?
So ProEdge Dental Water Labs,
Ballpark?
they estimate based upon the amount of tests that come through, and certainly there's many test labs and there's many ways to test, but their last estimation was at 33% of offices are actually testing their water. I feel like just this year alone, I have given 105 lectures. And I feel like in the 105 lectures that I've given this year, I should have spoken to everyone in dentistry, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, how could I not? However, every day I get a message or you read something on social media and you're like, oh, honey, no, 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 no. No, that's not how we do it. Okay. Like, you know. So there's still a lot of confusion around there. A lot of people think, oh, we use distilled water. We're fine. Oh no, our water just comes in from the city. We're fine. So there's still a ton of confusion around it. And there's a couple of states that have now written into their Dental Practice Act that you do have to test water. We have Georgia and Washington State. It's written into the Practice Act. So it's not even just, hey, we've adopted CDC guidelines. This is like, okay, now you really got to do it. There's even some states where when they've had an OSHA violation, OSHA has come in, and now OSHA has actually has fined offices for not testing water, even though it's not written in OSHA. They put it under general duty clause because we learned during COVID when they were testing what's actually in an aerosol. We learned that 78% of what we're breathing in our operatory is coming directly from our procedural water. So you all day long, your handpiece, you're drilling away. I'm using my power scaler. All that stuff that I'm breathing all day long, directly from your procedural water. And so what's in there? Is it Legionella? Is it Pseudomonas? Is it Mycobacterium? Like what's in there? So that matters for not just patient health, but it matters for our health too.
For that mystery college disease.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Jeff,
I do talk about antibiotic
big.
stewardship too, Jeff. So, if we need to go there, we can go there.
We definitely need to save that as a post-show discussion.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
for sure.
You should probably swab first.
Yeah.
So Amanda, as a baseline, because this will be seen by a lot of people, and hopefully this may be another piece that helps you get to more people. As a dead minimum, what should every dental practice owner, feel is obligatory as far as the minimum standard that you should be living up to with regard to protecting the water supply and the water that's being used for our patients?
At an absolute minimum, you need to be testing every single line in every single operatory quarterly. So every quarter, and then that test, you need to pass that test. So You should be I should say you should be passing your waterline
So
test.
just putting it in a test tube and mailing it off is not.
Well, it's sort of like asking your kids to move the clothes to the dryer, but not saying turn it on. So I figured I should add in the passing part just in case.
Yeah.
Because, so yeah, you should be passing a waterline test quarterly, and that's every line in every operatory. You can do one test per operatory, though. You can do what we call the pooled sample. So you could take like a handpiece line, your air water syringe, your assistant's air water syringe, and you can put those all into one test vial and test that way. So you don't have to have a separate test for every line, but per one operatory. You're not going to go around the whole office with one test.
And where, if someone is not established with a testing facility, where does one go to look for that? Maybe do you recommend working with someone who specializes in the dental industry, or just any water testing facility? Or, what are some of the recommendations you have with regard to that?
So in my opinion, Amanda Hill's opinion, is that annually...
It's the only one that matters.
I know, right? Because I'm the Waterline Warrior. I've got a cape. I got a cape.
Yeah.
Is that annually you should be sending your waterline test into a mail-in lab. And the reason why I like at minimum a mail-in test annually is, first off, it's a third-party verification that says, yes, your water's good. Mail-in tests are far more specific, far more accurate. They test for all of the bacteria. And so you're going to get a much more accurate result, so you know how your waterlines. It's kind of like the difference between Cologuard and a colonoscopy. It's good to get the colonoscopy, just to make sure. But Cologuard is good for like the little checkup. So then we have our chair side tests, which definitely use one that is intended for dental unit water lines. Don't go to Home Depot and buy a waterline test. I saw it on one of the dental Facebook.
This is exactly where I was going with that question.
I saw it,
and
that too. I legit went to my local hardware store and I was like, okay, what the floss is going on here? What are these waterline tests? So there's two that I saw. One, test for total dissolved solids. That's the minerals in your water, which, that's the stuff that gunks up your coffee maker. That's why we don't put that in your autoclave, right? Those kind of things. That's not what we're testing for. We're not testing for total dissolved solids. We're testing for colony forming units. So when I said passing, I didn't even say what passing is. Passing is the EPA standard for safe drinking water.
The exact opposite of what Chad did in college.
That's actually factual.
Every freaking night. Every night.
Okay, it's okay.
Add that to your reel, JB.
I'm time stamping it right now.
Yeah. Okay.
So passing a waterline test is that you're under 500 colony forming units per milliliter. That's what the EPA established for safe drinking water. And that's what the ADA, that's what dentistry has adopted in the US. Interestingly enough, other countries, they have lower thresholds than we do. Some have 100, some have 300. Dialysis has 200. We went with 500 because it was what everybody could finally stomach. So we're at 500 colony forming units per milliliter. So there's the one test that tests for total dissolved solids. The other test tests for total coliform bacteria. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, total, that sounds good. That's a good test. No, that tests for poop only. It's just a poop test. It's
That's
just
Cologuard.
E. coli. It's Cologuard.
Cologuard for your dental
Cologuard for water lines.
It's Cologuard for water lines. That's it. And so of course, we don't want E. coli in our water lines, but we also don't want a host of whole other things in our dental unit water lines. So those tests that you get at the hardware store are not okay for your water lines. You need a test that's actually meant for dental unit water lines.
So go ahead, JB, because I got a follow-up question too.
Okay. I'm a bit of a unicorn because I've been testing water lines for like 7 years.
Wow.
And I've gone through a myriad of tests.
Okay.
And so I just would like to review my pros and cons because
I'd
love your feedback on the challenges we've experienced.
Great.
We started with mail-in, had a ton of challenges with what happened once it left our facility and went in mail trucks and was hot and cold and all that.
Yeah.
And our results were like kind of all over the place. We were doing all the same things, and half the time every water unit in the whole place failed, and then the other half the time everything was positive, like great. So we just didn't know where to land so whatever. And the delay was significantly longer. Then we moved to in-house testing, and we've used a couple different systems for that with the little tiny vials, and you collect it. I will say that's fairly technique sensitive to make sure everybody's doing it correctly. And then at the end of the day, it comes down to me, because they'll bring them to me and they'll say, I don't know, Bill, what do you think? Does it pass or fail? And I'm looking at the sheet and I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, I don't know, like one is giant like a piece of cauliflower, but it's only one. And then, this one has 700,000. So is this the worst one or the one that looks super gross and looks like a cauliflower, but it's only one colony? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to write the book on that. Now we're looking at almost like a pregnancy test or a Cologuard, but it tests for everything. But it's just a dipstick. You basically run the line and do that. And it just gives you a pass or fail, which I'm mildly intrigued by simply because I feel ill qualified to read these tests 90% of the time. Like it's either not there or it's there, and then it's up to some human interpretation to say whether it's passed or failed.
Sure.
All right, that's my experience. I would say in total summation, we're very diligent about it. We test quarterly, we review our results, we go through a massive shock protocol when we fail, and we're very intentional about that. But it does cost our office a ton of money to maintain our water lines and to maintain them well. And I would also, frankly, love some kind of badge for that. That's what I would really like. Is a badge.
Okay, I will. Maybe you need a cape too. Maybe you need a cape.
No, I don't deserve
no
that.
Capes, just a badge.
But I would just like a badge.
Okay, I'll get to work on a badge. Okay, deal. Badge, no problem. That's funny that you talk about the mail-in tests. My office, the protocol that I've set up is that we do our mail-in test every year in January.
Correct. See?
Because we mail it when it's cold. Because they won't ship me wine when it's hot. Why on earth do I want to ship my dental unit water when it's hot? Right? Exactly. Right? So I do recommend a January mail-in test because it's less likely to, proliferate during the mailing process. There are some, I don't know how long ago it's been since you've done mail-ins. There's two different type of mail-in tests. Wow. There's R2A, which is the old Petri dish. We pour water on it and stuff grows. Kind of like, we did back in school. You watch the stuff grow. There's also now flow cytometry, which uses lasers and fluorescence to detect cellular activity. And it can detect live, dead, dying, and everything. It can detect absolutely everything. You get those results back in 24 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's really fast. So it only takes 20 minutes. It just has to get to the facility for them to read it. There are 2 labs in this country that do that. That's ProEdge Dental Water Labs and Agenix Water Labs. Both have flow cytometry. So that's kind of new. That I believe that will become our standard of testing. It's just going to take us a hot minute to get there.
Well, because if I can just dive into that a little bit, what you're saying is it'll catch the dead, the whatever. Like, I honestly felt at some point they were just growing it to grow it. Like what's the timestamp? Like, anything is going to grow crazy if you leave it there for 10 days on a Petri dish. Like, how long is it taking for the lab to process the data?
My refrigerator is case in point on that.
Exactly.
It's trash night. I just totally cleaned out the fridge. I did that. So this isn't growing. This is detecting what's there, which I really like. So we do that once a year in January, send those off. And then the other times we are doing a chairside test. I prefer the tests where you do one of those dipsticks.
That's what we're going to move to, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And then you watch the stuff grow. Super fun, right? You let it grow. The little pregnancy test one that you talked about is actually more of a screening tool than an actual test. If you read the instructions for use, it will tell you to do that monthly, but still do a mail-in quarterly test.
Okay.
So it's important still, no matter what test you choose, to read those instructions for use. I mean, like with anything that we have at dentistry, you got to read the directions. I know.
Dentists don't like doing that.
We really suck at that.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw something out there, and I want to reiterate that this show is not sponsored, but it's something that I'm incredibly excited about.
Okay.
So we started using this company that I talked to Amanda about called MCS, and they came in and they analyzed kind of what we were spending on Cava wipes, on Optum, whatever you're using in your office. We know how that crap degrades the furniture and everything in your office. And then they kind of talk about doing this spray in your office every 3 months. And when they come into spray, they're killing all the ATP or the food that the bacteria eats on the surfaces. And so you can downgrade the wipes that you're using in your office. Well, one of the kickers is they took and they analyzed what we're spending on, all the wipes and all the crap. And of course, you take into account how much it degrades your furniture and all your fixtures and all that other crap and breaks your water hoses, not your water
Right.
lines, but your water hoses. And so every 3 months they come in and spray, and then they test all of your surfaces, and then they test your water lines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this is no brainer. This is something that I really want to do. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, the first few tests, it was crazy because the first test was like the sales test. Like, we're gonna come in and we're gonna show this sumbitch how dirty his office is, right?
Yeah.
They do all of the operatories. The amazing thing is the operatories were all passing with freaking flying colors.
Way to go.
Yeah. Well, you know what wasn't though? The front reception counter
Yeah.
and the freaking bathroom handle and the
Oh,
doctor's armrest in their office.
Oh, I
Telephone.
bet
At
my
point in
office
time,
would just.
they test all
Yeah.
this, and you're just like, oh my God. I didn't care what it cost. I'm like, I'm all in. I'm all in. And, but the thing that really, really sold me was, yes, we do monthly water testing. I don't know that we're sending it in. My team's really good about all of this stuff. But now sending it in is a thing of the past because we get a full report and they're testing it on site with this little photometry thingamajigger that's pretty badass and this special solution and all that shit. And I'm like, I'm all in. This is great. And so, we have all of these tests and we're actually able to see how well our waterline treatment, our counter surface top treatment, and everything is working throughout the office, and then add their stuff in, we're getting the places that we were previously missing. So, and hopefully we don't have as many people out sick because that was a kicker for
that,
me too. I'm like,
that's nice.
hey, if we can minimize the non-treatment areas, maybe we'll have fewer people out sick during, the high seasons. So.
Yeah,
So
I think my only concern, and if you don't like this, you can totally edit it out.
You
But-
We don't edit.
How you want. No.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So this sounds super cool. I clearly need to learn more. I'm not sure that they're testing for total coliform units in the water. I think it's kind of a different test. So we'd need to see what they're testing for.
No, and that brings
Right.
to attention we
Right.
might still need
So
to be
would that,
sending it
like,
out. That's cool.
Does that actually check the box? And then the EPA regulates our disinfectants. And the EPA says in dentistry, we must use intermediate level disinfectants that have a tuberculosis claim and that have a bloodborne pathogens claim. So they have to appear on list B and list S for the EPA. So if they don't appear on list B and list S, they're BS. That's how you can remember. Isn't that handy?
that is nice.
Yeah, isn't that good? That was really nice of them. So whether this stuff works or doesn't work, which I believe works, frankly, I believe like hypochlorous and ozone work really well too. I
Yeah.
totally believe they work. And I
was
love
a
how
big
not
fan of
corrosive
that
they
during
are.
COVID. I'll tell you
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just need an EPA claim and registration number with the appropriate kill time so that you are still following your regulatory agencies. Because if you were to then get, inspected and they're like, well, show us your wipes. And you're like, oh no, we're using this. Then they're like, yeah, no, you have to have something that has an intermediate level claim.
Okay, they do have the EPA claims.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the big
good.
that was a big kicker for us too, which is
And TB and bloodborne pathogens?
I'm gonna say yes. I don't.
Okay, let's check on that. Let's check on that because you can get an EPA claim for a lot of things. Yeah.
But that was a big talking point for them when we got onto this. But
Okay.
when we looked at everything, and I mean, they're entirely dental related, and I think the reason that the majority of the country has not heard of what they're doing yet is because they have a limited team that can provide the service. So
Okay,
they basically stretch from South Texas up to Kansas City, and they haven't expanded outward of that, and they're trying to figure out that approach.
got it.
It's very, very interesting, and you will be in touch with them. We'll talk
Okay,
about it
okay,
afterwards
okay.
because I'm going to
So
get all that stuff because that's you, that's not me. I
Right.
don't know all those things. I
No,
mean,
but
it sounded good, it looked good,
it
all of
it
the
seems
studies
super
looked good,
cool. Yeah.
and the testing was incredibly cool, and the amount of time they spent in my office was incredibly cool. So,
And
I'm
and we all know it takes a while. Like much like I said, I think flow cytometry will become the gold standard for testing. That's going to take a while for everybody to get on board and decide that's okay. Much probably similarly with this, it will take a little while till we can get all the boxes checked and all that kind of stuff.
So this opens up a whole other can of worms here because the other thing that I see is, well, dentists will say, well, I have dedicated water lines with water bottles. And so I don't need to test because I'm putting distilled water in my lines. And I mean, just I see some of the craziest stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe go over what the protocols, what the care protocols ought to be for those dedicated water lines and water bottles, because I see all kinds of crazy stuff and claims made about those dedicated units.
And I will
So,
also say,
yeah.
feel free to mention your favorite brand
Okay.
names because there's no sponsorship of this. And I would love for people to just hear what you recommend, what you think. Go for it.
I
Perfect.
agree with that. Yeah.
It's all you.
Perfect. So when I say that we are testing water, it's actually a little confusing because people are like, no, I'm putting in distilled water. Or some people
Yeah.
even put sterile water into their dental unit water bottles, right? Really, what we are testing is what is happening to the dental unit water lines in your chair. You're testing the engineering of your chair. So what's happening to that output water, the water that's getting squirted in your patient's mouth? Because those tubing, you think about all the tubing in your chair, you think about how tiny it is. I mean, if you ever taken off your air water syringe, like that tubing is so tiny you can fit like a paper clip in it, right? Because it's so tiny, that is the perfect environment for biofilm to grow. So really what you're testing is there biofilm growth in my chair? So distilled water, even sterile water, I mean, your grandma's pickle juice because you've decided it has medicinal properties. I don't care what you're putting into your bottle. I want you to use a good quality water. But I care less about what you're putting into your bottle and I care much more about what comes out on the other end. So you need to do a system of shocking and treating your lines. Shocking is using a high level antimicrobial to blast out the biofilm, to really get it clean. In my office, we shock quarterly. We test and we shock. We test and we shock every quarter to make sure that we're keeping that biofilm down. Then every day we use a low-level antimicrobial in our bottle. We at our office, at one point we were using the straws. We were using Blue Tube by ProEdge. I like that one because you change it out every 6 months instead of every year. Where sometimes some of the year straws, they say they're good for a year, but it's 274 liters. Well, who the heck knows when you went through 270 liters of water? And that was with good quality water. Well, what if your water already had some schmutz in it and it was already using all of its silver bullets before it got there? So we started using tablets because the team was more compliant with tablets. So we use Blue Tab, and we drop a little tablet in our water bottle and we fill it up. You let it dissolve and then you screw it on. And that's a low-level antimicrobial in the lines. And so what I liken it to is I say that shocking is like if you came to see me, I'm your dental hygienist, and I get in your mouth and I'm using my subgingival air polisher and I'm using my power scaler and I'm using my hand scaler and I'm disrupting all of the biofilm in your mouth. Like I'm going to town, right? I would never, though, say at the end of that appointment, Jeff, I am so good at this. I have disrupted all of the biofilm in your mouth. You don't have to do anything for 3 months. You don't have to brush. You don't have to floss. You don't have to wear your PeriProtect trays. You don't have to use your water flosser. Like, no, nothing, because I got the biofilm. No, I tell you to do home care. So your low-level antimicrobial, that straw or that tablet, there's also liquids on the market. That low-level antimicrobial is what's keeping the biofilm kind of at bay until you come in with another shock. And that next shock is like coming back to the hygienist again. So that's the system that I like the best. Now, if you find that you are failing, like that's a whole nother conversation. That's when, Jennifer, you said, if you fail, you have like a whole shock protocol. Like that's when I recommend using a really strong shock, like Liquid Ultra, ICX Renew, or diluted bleach. Those are my 3 favorite strong shocks. Follow the instructions for use, read the instructions. If you think like 10 minutes with bleach is good, 4 days with bleach is not better.
Nope.
10 minutes. Overnight with Liquid Ultra is good. 2 weeks with Liquid Ultra, bad, right? So read those instructions. But I would recommend, if you find that you're failing, you've never done this before, you might need to shock 3 times in a row. I call it the triple shock because you want to take off all the layers of biofilm. I mean, think about, biofilm in your patient's mouth. It's the same thing. It's going to take a little while, peel back all the layers of the onion. So setting up a system of, if you haven't done this before, you're going to shock. And then you're going to, set up your treatment protocol with a tablet or a straw. And then you're going to get into a regular testing protocol. And then you test quarterly and then you shock. And then 3 months later, you test and then you shock. And the reason I do that is I test first to see how is our protocol working? Is it working? Like, is our tablet doing it? Is Susan remembering to put in the tablet? What if Susan's not putting in the tablet and I think she is? And really then we're failing. So we test first to see, are we compliant? Is it working? And then we shock just as kind of extra insurance to make sure that we're not going to fail.
Why is it always Susan?
Well, her name is actually Susan.
Okay, I just want to
That
make
is
sure.
legit her name, Susan.
Okay.
She's the greatest. I love her.
But
So
she
she does her
forget
job.
the blue tab sometimes.
She does. She gets busy. She has a lot of jobs, Susan. But she's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's
Susan
why.
the Shocker.
Yeah.
Susan the Shocker. There you
Hey,
go.
you know who else wears a cape?
Who?
Frank Costanza's divorce attorney.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
Yeah, we're coming up on Festivus, aren't we?
But
Yes,
yeah,
we
Festivus is coming up.
Yes.
Well, Frank Costanza, who came up with Festivus when he was getting a divorce, that was a whole thing. It was Larry David. His divorce attorney wore a cape. So, it was a whole thing on Seinfeld.
There you
So
go.
you're in good company.
There you go.
We're gonna pretend
That
that
is
was
definitely
smooth.
useless knowledge.
Let's
Yes.
That's the kind of stuff we talk about, though. We have to talk about useless and useful.
Yes.
keep
We,
it.
we need to
keep it
draw a
happening.
contrast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glad I
Okay.
could be of service.
I'm Ellen. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Everyone is now a little dumber for having listened to that.
So I have a selfish ask.
Okay.
When this posts on YouTube, we're going to send you the links. Would you maybe write some notes in the comments? Because you just gave some awesome information that
Sure.
I think a lot of offices could really benefit from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And frankly, I have a handout that has a Waterline protocol on it that I could totally share. I would be happy to. And you said, feel free to mention, companies. One of the
Absolutely.
greatest companies that I work with, I love them. It's ProEdge Dental Water Labs. And the thing I love about them is no matter what product you're using, you could be using a competitor's product. The folks that work there, their customer delight team, they call them.
Oh.
Their customer delight team, they will actually help you. They know the instructions for use for every single product. They will not be like, no, you switch to ours. No, they'll say, hey, this is okay. Let me help you. If you've never done anything with your water and you're like you're deer in the headlights right now, give them a call. They will help you. They will help you without judgment. They will be like, all right, so let's start here. And kind of really help walk you through it. So I can't say enough nice things about ProEdge Dental Water Labs.
And that's a conversation that we have with a lot of people, that they just treat everybody. If you treat everybody right, it's going to come back to you. Sorry,
Yes.
JP. I love it.
No, we've ebbed and flowed between municipal water supplies and distilled water supplies because one of my practices in a 100-year-old building, and we came to find out pretty fast how dirty the tap water was.
Okay.
Because we
Yes.
tested it. We were like,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
Let's see what this water
Sure.
looks like.
Yeah.
They were like, and we're on distilled now because
So this is interesting, Jennifer. Midmark and ADEC are now saying no distilled water in their chairs.
I know. So that was the problem. We were doing municipal water supplies. We were at that time we were using the old Steri straw with the 1 year and failing miserably and constantly. Like I would shoot it out and I'd be like, this is not safe for human consumption.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then I finally said, you know what? How bad is the water? I just need to know. And the water failed the most. When I grew it was disgusting. And so I said, I don't know what to do anymore because I can't use water.
Unfortunately, you're going to just have to use spring water, like either have the Culligan man come in, or have somebody go to BJ's, and you know how you used to get all the jugs of distilled water, maybe you still do for your autoclave. The same thing, just get spring water. The reason why Midmark and ADEC are no longer saying distilled water in their chairs is distilled water is really hungry water because it has no minerals and it wants to bring itself back to balance. So it was causing corrosion in all of the brass fittings within the chair.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So wait, I'm not understanding the corrosion thing. If it is demineralized,
it's demineralized and it wants minerals.
It's drawing from the product. Okay, I got you.
It's like little Pac-Man guys.
Gotcha.
Feed me. Right? That's what it's doing.
So let's have a laugh here. Where is the craziest water supply that you found since you're testing shit everywhere? I want to know.
Okay. So a couple months ago, I was speaking in Iowa.
She got excited.
Oh, this was a good one.
I knew she would. Yeah,
this was good. Yeah. I was speaking in Iowa, and I mean, no shade on Iowa. They were the nicest folks, but they put me up in this hotel, and they're like, and we upgraded you to a suite. Like they were so sweet. They were so nice. And I show up, I open the door of this hotel, and immediately I'm hit with this like smell in the hotel. I'm like, I even out loud said, wow, that was a smell. And the guy at the front desk is like, welcome. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, they showed me to my room, and in my room is a heart-shaped bathtub.
Oh, that's awesome.
You gotta test it.
Okay, what town in Iowa?
Test it.
What town is this? Is this like
Des Moines? Is this Des Moines?
It was Ankeny.
Ankeny, Iowa. Yeah.
Yes, I think I flew into Des Moines though.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So of course I had to test the tub. Get a little in there, fill up a little water, stir it up, making sure I'm getting the biofilm, because guys, when you were thinking about like if you have a dog and you know how that the biofilm forms in their water bowl, it gets that slick, So yeah, so that water. But actually, to make the story the best, so I went in, I had my quick pass with me because I travel everywhere with the quick pass, and grabbed my little water. So these incubate for 24 hours or 48 hours. So I didn't know right away, right? We go out to dinner. I come back into this hotel room, and there's water pouring down in the middle of my hotel room. And I run out to the front desk, and I was like, "Hey, there's the problem." And they come back in. They're like, "Oh, well, we're going to have to switch your rooms. I'm sorry. We don't have another heart-shaped bathtub for you." And I'm like,
it's really okay.
I'm good, thanks. So the next morning, the guy was like, he's like, oh, it turned out there's a room above you with the exact same heart-shaped bathtub. And they filled it up to the top, and then they got in.
And they dropped their bath bombs in there.
And then the water just sheeted down. He's like, but I caulked it up if you want to move back in the room. I'm like,
no, thank you.
No.
Yeah, awesome.
Anyway, the water did indeed fail in my heart-shaped bathtub. I'm glad. Shocking.
That's really shocking.
Yeah. So yeah. But I will tell you. You talked about I tested water in airports. I often test those water fillers. You go through TSA and then you fill your water bottle. Every single one has passed. So
nice.
Really,
just so every single, and I've tested them all over the country. Everyone has passed. My new goal is to test water at all of the MLB parks because I feel like it's a way to write off a trip to a baseball game.
Yep.
There you go.
Right?
And you did an MLB park this past.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did Wrigley Field, and it failed.
Okay.
Wrigley Field.
That is not surprising after I attended a Morgan Wallen concert there.
Yeah.
Because the faucets are not just an exit strategy. They're also receiving things as well. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So Wrigley Field, I would just bring some bottled water to Wrigley Field. Because that failed.
Jeff, have you ever experienced an overflowing tub before?
You know, that actually crossed my mind. Yeah,
It crossed the roof of the restaurant.
I flooded an entire restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in Cancun at one of the Aspire meetings. Yeah, there was an outdoor soaking tub.
Such a stupid design.
It was really a bad design. And so, we're like, okay, this is great. Let's go get in the tub. So my wife and I get in the tub. And it was kind of one of those things where we filled it up kind of high. We got in and then and it just all goes over the porch. And our balcony was directly over the restaurant, the outdoor restaurant for the hotel. They had to shut the thing down. And I'm like, clearly, this was poor design.
Idea.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
So good.
Yeah.
No, because we were all talking. We were like, yeah, they had to shut the restaurant down. Did you see all that water? Jeff goes, I might know a little something about that.
Yeah.
That was at our $3,000 dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a all-inclusive resort.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Never a dull moment.
Oh, that's
Never
good.
a dull moment.
Yeah.
Well, we should have tested that water too.
Yeah.
I'd rather not. Once I've been in it, I'd rather not know the results.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've tested my pedicure water, all those kind of things. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet your pedicurist loves you. They're
I don't know. They say things. I just don't know
what they're saying about you.
Oh, geez, oh, Pete. So, well,
all right,
this
guys.
hour went so fast. And hey, you two over there and down there, was she not dynamic?
Amazing.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome. So I definitely. Are you going to be in Chicago?
I will. Yes, I will be in Chicago.
She's coming to the booth.
Come by the booth and do a short segment with us?
Oh, I would love to. Yeah. Yes.
We'd love to have you. Everybody needs to
test
meet
some
in person.
water. No,
Yes!
Let's go on location.
This
and
would
test some
actually
water.
be a cool thing to do.
We're testing water.
Funny
at the
thing
Chicago
is
Midwinter.
my OCD son that will be filming this will be so into this
Okay.
shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll test some water.
And then for funsies, let's test the wine.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Proof
I mean,
that
I've
wine can be
tested
better than water
coffee.
sometimes.
I've tested coffee on airplanes. I've tested ice
I
on
don't
all
wanna
of the
test that.
airlines, just so you know.
Tell me about that.
Did any of them pass?
Yeah. Delta, United, good. Southwest.
Well, I am all in on testing anything. I'm ready for this.
Okay.
Chicago's going to be a blast this year.
All right.
It's going to be a whole new ball game. So
I'm ready.
thank you so much for being with us tonight and taking time away from your family and joining us and hopefully talking about the things that obviously they make you tick. But it was so great to see you again. And we really can't thank you enough for just being with us and sharing your knowledge.
Thanks for having me.
It was great. And get the clip of Seinfeld for your lectures, the caped lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get it added.
Pending.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, if you didn't learn it tonight, be sure to be testing your water lines. And Amanda's going to share some information with us. They'll be in the show notes. And we will, if she's willing to share the PDF that she has with us, we will certainly share that with you all as well. But thanks, everybody, for being here. And what a great show. And we'll see you guys next week.
Have a great night.
Night, everyone.
Everybody.
Night.
And that wraps up another podcast for Dentists in the Know. On behalf of Dr. Jennifer Bell, Dr. Chad Duplantis, and myself, remember that we've got a great profession, so let's make it a great day, Dinks.